Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball, the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on October 12th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategies 1 and 2, the game card color code, and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 5, 18, 33, 43, and 65. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 5 was green, the 18 was blue, the 33 was purple, the 43 was red, and the 65 was purple. So I'm going to color these in. So again, the 5 was green. The 18 was blue. The 33 and 65 were purple. And the 43 was red. So now I'm going to count how many colors I have. I have 2 purple, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 green for 4 colors total. So up here I'm going to make this 373 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 4 color combination has now come up 133 times. Okay? So what I want you to focus on here is the 3 color combination. This has come up 197 times. Okay? So if you divide 197 into 373, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay? And to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. So my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left is purple. So basically what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers here. Now the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers. And the reason why that is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. Okay, so I'm going to start with the 5, the 18, the 33, 43, and 65. The next line down is the 6, 14, 36, 51, 54. The next line down is the 4, the 8, the 10, 43 is already taken, and the 53. So again, I'm going to make these red numbers. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 2 here, 4 for 6, 4 more for 10, and 4 for 14. So up here, I'm going to leave this at 14. Up here tells me how many of each color I have on the game card. Okay? So moving on to the orange area here, I'm going to start with the 15, the 23, 34, 51 is already taken, so the 55. The next line down is the 37. The 43 is already taken. The 44, 45, 53 is already taken. Okay, so the 1, 9, 22, 36 is already taken, and the 68. So again, I'm going to make this orange numbers. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 2 here, 3 are 5, 3 more 8, and 3 is 11. And I don't think that I made this last line here. So sorry about that, folks. So I'm going to go with the 19, the 39, the 47, and the 51 is already taken. So I'll make those orange numbers as well. Okay, so that looks right. So I got 3, and 3 are 6, 3 are 9, okay, and 5 is 14. So I'm going to leave this alone right here at 14 as well, okay? So I think you get the gist of how I came up with the colors for my game card here. So what I'm going to do is just to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the left, or to the right, I mean. And so there was 14 red numbers, 14 orange, turned out to be 16 green numbers, 12 blue, and 13 purple numbers, okay? So, again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up, okay? So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up, and that's what I want to focus on here, okay? So, again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers, okay? So, the strategy here is try to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I want to point out that all 5 colors do come up. It's come up 13 times out of 378 drawings. Okay, so it does come up, but it's very rare. Okay, so I'm going to make a decision on what color group I don't think is going to come up, and to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the next strategy called the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So that means there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing, okay? So basically, I use these 50-50 picks as kind of like a roadmap to what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to update this here. So I'm going to go back to the game card. So I got an odd number, even, odd, odd, odd. So 4 odd numbers and 1 even. So first thing I'm going to do is make this 419. This is how many drawings I kept track of so far. And basically this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay. So again, I had 4 odd numbers, 1 even. So now I'm going to make this 220. Okay, so out of 419 drawings, 220 drawings have been majority of odd numbers. 199 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so here, again, I like to break things down into 5, so it shows me that majority. So out of this 5 drawings, you can see the majority was odds, 4 drawings to 1. Okay. So as I go back into the history of things, you can see that there was a streak of odds here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that there's going to be more even numbers than odds, okay? So for this 5 right here, I'm going to think that it's going to be evens like right here, okay? So I'm going to write that down just to remind myself what I picked. So I think there's going to be more even numbers than odds, okay? So going back, the next one I have is this high and low here. So all the numbers in red are considered high. All the ones in blue are considered low, okay? So looking at this, things are pretty close, 211 to 208, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that it's going to be to the high side. So I think more numbers are going to come up in this red area than the blue area, okay? So moving on to the next one, I got left and right. Actually, let me write that down. More to the high side than the low side. And the next one is this left and right here. So as I scroll down through, it's been pretty sparse over here to the left side. So I'm going to predict that more numbers are going to be to the left side here than the right side. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well. Okay, and the last one I have is a red and blue area. Now you can see the blue is way far behind the red, 227 to 192, okay? So what I'm going to predict is that this is going to go another blue. So I think more numbers are going to be here in this blue area than the red. So I'm going to write that down as well. More numbers to the blue. Okay, so using that information, I'm going to make a decision on what color group I don't think is going to come up. So since I think more numbers are going to be here in this blue area than the red, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the purple numbers, okay? So you can see there's a bunch of purple here in this square, a couple here, and very little in this area here. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to block these out. Because I don't think that they're going to come up. Okay, so when I block out numbers like that, that means that I'm not even going to consider those numbers when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play, okay? So in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these purple numbers will come up in the next drawing, okay? So if I'm correct with my bet and none of these purple numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize, okay? So moving on to the next strategy. It's strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers, okay? So basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and divided it into 7 different groups. So here's group number 1 that hosts the numbers of 1 through 9. Of course, this is the only one with 9 numbers where the other 6 have 10 numbers to it, okay? So over here, these are the winning Powerball numbers that just came up. So I'm going to follow this plane until I find the 5. And now I'm going to make this green, okay? And I'm making this square green because the 5 is green, okay? And again, the 5 is green because the color code said it was green, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. So again, there's 7 of these groups, okay? And there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So how you read this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings, okay? And again, I like to break things down into 5, mostly to show me the majority, but this is a little bit different. I break it down into 5 for a couple reasons. One is when I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, okay? So that's basically how I use this. So I'm going to make a decision on what group I don't think will have the winning Powerball numbers to it. And since I think more numbers are going to be to the high side than the low side, I'm going to pick over here to the left side here. And I'm going to go with numbers of 1 through 9 that I don't think are going to come up, okay? So I'm going to go back to my game card, and I'm going to eliminate all the numbers of 1 through 9, okay? So as I come back, here's the 1, the 3, 4, 5, 6, the 8's over here, and the 9 is right here. So again, I'm going to block those out, and hopefully they don't come up, okay? So moving on to the next strategy. It's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers, okay? So basically what I did is I took all the numbers and divided it into 4 different color groups, okay? So when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers land within these color groups, I record where they land down here in the stats, okay? So I'm going to update this right now. So again, the winning Powerball numbers were 5, which is in the blue. The 18 is in the red. The 33 is in the orange. The 43 is in the orange. And the 65 is in the red, okay? So I had 2 red numbers, the 18, 65. I had 1 blue, the 5. I had 2 orange, the 33 and 43. and I had no winning Powerball numbers in the green area. Okay, so if there's a miss here, I colored the background blue for cold. And if there's a hit, I color the background red for hot. Okay, so here I'm going to make this 104, and this tells me how many blue marks are here. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where these blue marks are going to pop up. Now, last drawing, if I could have correctly guessed that no green numbers were going to come up, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a decision on where I think these blue marks are going to be. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, and green. Okay, it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so to help me make a decision here, I'm going to turn to my Group 1 overview. Okay, so this keeps track of all the zeros that hit in the colors of red, blue, orange, and green. Okay, so you can see that this has the background of red, and this one has the background of blue. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards. All right, so if there's 4 or less option cards with a 0 to it, like this last one had 2 zeros among all the red areas among these 15 option cards. Okay, so if there's 5 or more zeros or misses among these 15 option cards in this certain color, like green here, I colored the background blue for cold, so it gives me some separation. Okay, so if I could correctly guess where a blue mark is going to be, okay, I'm going to look at that area to pick the zeros. Okay, so this last one had 9 to it. Okay, so I'll just go over it real quick. So here's 1, there's another 0, 3, just here in the blue mark here, the green, I mean. Okay, so there's number 4 in a row, there's 5, 6, there's 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so again, when I could predict that there's going to be lots of zeros in a certain area, that's what I'm going to look for. So I think that there's going to be another blue mark here in the green, and I think there's going to be one over here in the red. Okay, so I'm going to make my predictions on where I think these numbers won't be. Okay, and I'm going to start with this option card, the number 7. So I'm going to go with the green area. I think the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, and we'll see what happens. Now, we're all going to look at this differently. Okay, so we're all going to come up with a different result. But the reason why I'm picking this is because if this is a 0 right here, I'm going to make this a 1 right here. Okay, so, oh, sorry about that. I hit the home button. Okay, so a 1 comes up a lot. So here's one right here, a couple over here, okay, a couple more here. So in this green area, there hasn't been a 1 in a long time. Way down here, okay. So I'm going to predict that it's due to come up another 1 here. So again, I think it's going to be right here, and I think the 0 will be right here. So I'm going to get rid of all these green numbers, okay? And so I got the 4 corners here, the middle, this pattern here, and this pattern here. So I'll go to the game card, and I'll take off these right here in the middle. I'm going to take away this 19 as well. And I'm going to take away this 53 and 58 as well. Okay, so again, you can see that I have 5 numbers over here to the left, okay? And as I go back to the game card, I mean to group 1 here, you can see that there's no numbers over here to the left side, okay? So what I wanted was this grid of 8 squares across and 8 squares down, but that's only good for 64 numbers, okay? And there's 69 in the lottery, okay? So I had to pair up a couple of these squares, okay? Like the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 and the 65, the 53 and the 69, and the 58 and the 68, okay? So this is just my way of grouping up numbers here. So if I get rid of all these green numbers like I'm doing, I'm going to get rid of the 8 and the 66 at the same time, okay, as a group. So moving on to the next one I'm going to pick is option card 14, but I just want to go over this. I call this a row when all 4 colors get represented, okay? So there's a couple of variables here. So it's really hard to pick where these zeros are going to come up, okay? But if you can get them correct, you can knock a bunch of numbers out, okay? So what I'm going to do is here for 14, option card 14, I'm going to go with no red numbers. Just because I hit 21 drawings in a row, you know, when it hits 20 drawings in a row, I just automatically start thinking it's going to be a 0, okay? So this represents about, well, it represents 16 squares, and I don't think there's any extra numbers in here, so just 16 numbers. So, you know, I don't think it's going to go too far before there's a 0 to it, because there's, you know, there's like 40-something other numbers that can come up, okay? So, again, I'm going to predict that the 0 is going to be right here. And we'll see what happens, and I'm going to get rid of these red numbers that go 9, 18, 11, 20, all the way across. And same thing here with 41, 50, 43, 52. So 9, 18, so I'll get rid of this 20, and I get rid of the 13, 22, 15, 24. Also the 41, 50, 53, 52. And the 47 and 54, I get rid of those as well. So that's a bunch of numbers I just knocked out. So hopefully none of those numbers come up. And the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers, I hope, are still here on my game card. Okay? So that's all I'm going to pick from group 1. So I'm going to go off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups. Okay, so it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers. All right, except with this one, I know that there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers and there's 8 different color groups here. So I know that 3 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and update this as well. Okay, so the 5 was in purple, the 18 is in blue, the 65 and 35 were in red, and the 43 is in orange. Okay, so I have 8 different colors, and they're all the same colors as red, blue, orange, and green, purple, brown, gray, and yellow. And again, it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so I always like to read things from left to right. So I got 2 red, the 65, 33. I got 1 blue, the 18, 1 orange, the 43, and 1 purple, the 5. So coming down here to current, what I'm going to do is I am going to put a 2 here in the red area, okay? For the 65-33, there's 1 in the blue, the 18. There's 1 winning Powerball number in the orange, the 43. There's no winning Powerball numbers in the green. There's 1 in the purple, the 5. There's no winning Powerball numbers in the brown, no winning Powerball numbers in the gray, and no winning Powerball numbers in the yellow. Okay, so I'm going to count how many it hit. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4. So since the majority is over here to the left side, I'm going to color this 4 red. Okay, so if I'm looking at this green 3 for whatever reason, okay, I know that the majority of the numbers were over here to the right side because this 3 is green, okay? So what I'm going to do is, again, I like to break things down into 5, so it shows me the majority. So here you can see the majority is hits, 3 to 1 so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color the background red for hot, okay? So here's one where the majority, actually 2 of them, the majority are misses, so I'm going to color the background blue for cold. Okay, actually here's one right here as well. Now these 2 are right on the verge, so I'm going to color it yellow. And I'm just going to set this up for the next one. Okay, so why I do that is because I'm looking for something like this right here where you can see that it's been really, really hot. Well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on where I think the 0 is going to be. And what I'm going to do is go with the brown area. You can see that this has been really hot right through here. So I'm going to predict that the 0 is going to be right here, okay? So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to get rid of the brown numbers off of my game card. So I'll find the brown numbers. It runs from the 6 down to the 62. So I'm going to go back to the game card and eliminate the 14 and the 30. So hopefully those numbers don't come up, okay? And I'm going to move on to the next option card, which is option card number 2, of course. And I'm going to go with blue. So here's the blue, and as I scroll down through, you can see that things got a little hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers, and it runs from the 9 to the 16. So I'm going to get rid of this 12. Okay, so moving on to the next one, option card 3. I'm going to go with gray, so here's the gray, and as I scroll down through, you see that things got pretty hot through here, okay? So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here, and I'm going to get rid of these gray numbers, and that's the 6 to the 30 and the 35 to the 59. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this 51. Hopefully that number doesn't come up, okay? So moving on to the option card number 4, I'm going to go with brown. So here's the brown. As I scroll down through, you can see that things got pretty hot through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the brown numbers, and that runs from the 9 to the 12 and the 45 to the 48. And there's nothing to get rid of here, okay? No numbers here, no numbers here. So what I'm going to do here, as I go back to option card 2 here, as I scroll down through, now I keep track of everything here with the stats, okay? And basically, the average for all 15 option cards is that 4 of these color groups are going to have a hit to it, and 4 of these color groups are going to have a miss to it, okay? So right now I'm kind of looking at a 50-50 guess, okay? So there was nothing to get rid of out of this brown, okay? So I don't want to come back to this option card, okay? So let's just say that my prediction is correct and no brown numbers come up. If I come back to this option card 4 and pick another one, okay, the odds go way, way up that I'm going to get it wrong, okay? So I designed this to move on to the next option card where I had that 50-50 guess again, okay? So for this option card 5, I'm going to go with no brown. So I'm hoping that 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the brown numbers. And these are the brown numbers here, so I'm going to get rid of the 23. Okay, so moving on to option card 6. I'm going to go with red, so here's the red. And as I scroll down, you can see that things have been pretty hot. and I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. So I'll get rid of these red numbers, the 3, 12, 67, 28, all the way down. So I'll get rid of the 44 and the 60. And hopefully those two numbers don't come up. Okay, so moving on to number 7. I'm going to go with gray. So here's the gray. So things got pretty hot down through here, so I'm hoping that 0 is going to be right here. And I'll get rid of the gray numbers, and that's the 9, 2, 11, 4. And there's no numbers here, so I'm going to move on to the next option card. So this is number 8, and I'm going to go with no blue. So here's the blue. Things got pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping that 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers, the 6, 15, 22, 32, all the way down. And there's nothing to get rid of. So I'm going to move on to the next one. Option card 9. And I'm going to go with blue again. So here's the blue. You see that things got pretty hot through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of the pattern of the 227 on the left side and 1621 on the right side. So I'll get rid of that 21 and 27. Hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, so moving on to option card 10. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, so I'm almost done here. Okay, so I'm going to go with orange. So cruising down. Things got pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these orange numbers. And that's the pattern of 318 all the way around. So I'm going to get rid of the 39. Hopefully that number doesn't come up. So moving on to 11, I'm going to go with red. So here's the red. And as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got really hot through here. So I'm hoping that 0 is going to be right here. And I'll get rid of these red numbers, the 6, 14, 17, 65, 35, 43, and 56, 64. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of these two right here. So another two numbers off the board, the 17, 65. So hopefully those numbers don't come up. So moving on to 12. 12, I was having a hard time making the decision, so I'm going to leave this one alone, and I'm going to move on to option card 13. And I had a hard time making the decision here as well, so I'm going to leave this one alone. And I'm going to go on to option card 14, where I'm going to go with, I think the 0 is going to be right here in the purple area. So I'm going to scroll up to see what the purple numbers are. It's these squares right here, okay? So I'm going to get rid of the 42. Hopefully that number doesn't come up. And moving on to 15, the final option card, I'm going to go with orange. And I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these orange numbers, and that runs from the 1 diagonal down to the 64. So I'm going to get rid of the 37 and the 55. Hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, so that will leave me 5 numbers. So I'm going to go with the 33. Whoops, I'm sorry. The 31, 33, 36, 57, and 61. Okay, so again, a 3-color combination comes up more than half the time, and you can see that this is a 3-color combination here. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight these numbers. Again, I'm going to go with the 31, 33, 36, 57, and 61. Okay, so again, I thought there was going to be more even numbers, and you can see that there's more odd numbers that came up. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. More to the high side, and you can see that there is 4 to the high side, more to the left, and more to that blue area. Okay, so other than the evens, I like the picks. Okay, so I think Sherlock Holmes said it the best when he said it's a matter of deduction. Okay, so basically, okay, if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then these highlighted numbers have to come up, okay? So, what are the odds that I made all the correct picks, okay? So let me go over the official odds, okay? The official odds are to get all 5 white balls and the red ball correct, the grand prize. The odds are 1 in 292 million that you'll get it right, okay? My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct, okay? And what I mean by that is the game's geared up for the white balls, okay? I love to win the grand prize, all right? Don't get me wrong. The odds are 1 in 11,688,000 that you'll get it right, okay? So in other words, there's nearly 12 million 5-number combinations that you can make out of 69 numbers, okay? So I don't want to give any kind of illusions that this is going to be easy to win, okay? It's more of a game of entertainment, of a fun way to pick your numbers, okay? So another nice prize to win would be 4 white balls and a red ball. That pays $50,000 plus the power play if you play it, and the odds are just about 1 in a million, okay? So 4 white balls gets you $100 plus the power play, okay? The odds of that are 14,000. And 3 white balls pays 7 plus the power play, and you can see the odds on that, okay? If you just get the Powerball correct, that pays $4 plus the power play, and I think the odds are 1 in 29, I think it is, okay, or 39. Okay, so I just want to go over a budget. You can see that the odds are astronomical for the upper prizes, okay? So I just want to let you know that if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on the lottery, okay? So moving on, I do have something for the Powerball number itself, okay? I think this last one was a 2, which it was. So I'm going to put a 2 here. Okay, so over in this column here, there's 26 red numbers. So basically, I just divided the numbers in 2, okay? So if you see a blue number, that means it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26, okay? Over here in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, that's evens, okay? Now, the reason why I do the colors here is, if I see a streak like this where it's all blue, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually. I just have to correctly guess when it's going to happen, okay? So I use the colors as a guide to, pick what color I think it's going to be. So here, I think this is going to be a red number, which means high, 14 to 26. And over here, I think this is going to be red as well. So I'm looking at a high odd number, okay? So I'm just going to concentrate on the 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, and 25. Those 7 numbers, all right? I'm not sure what I'm going to go with yet, okay? But I'm going to go with a high odd number, okay? So in closing, I want to thank you for watching, okay? If you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball, okay? And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.